Hi, I'm Harout Markarian, and this is Mobility and Inclusion, the show where we share the powerful stories of people with disabilities and daring entrepreneurs making waves in our world. From technological innovations to best practices in business, we'll learn what it really means to live in an inclusive and universally designed environment. Good morning. This is Mobility and Inclusion. I am Harout Markarian, and my guest today is the president and co-founder of Differently Abled Entertainment, Jon-Lee Campbell. With a mission to provide opportunities to differently abled entertainers, Jonni and her partner, Michael Ray, strive to create and find material and prospects for differently abled actors. Most importantly, the pair has maintained a unified goal, which is bring awareness to both seen and unseen disabilities. Without any further ado, I want to welcome Jonni.
Thank you so much.
And no, thank you for being with us today and giving us your Friday morning. I wanted to open the questions with your accident that you had when you were 16 and changed your life. Let's talk about the process and the adaptation period that gave you hope through hell, as the article written by Susan Allen mentioned.
Yeah, I wrecked my car when I was a junior in high school. I was on my way to work. I was a CNA at the time at a local nursing home, but I lived in rural Nebraska out in the country, and I rolled my car on a dirt road and broke my back when I hit the ground. It, I mean, when something like that happens, you just yeah, it's life changing. I was very, very fortunate to and they have a spinal cord injury unit. And so I got to be around people my age going through, some people much worse things, some people were able to still walk, and so I saw the full spectrum of spinal cord injuries and really realized how lucky I was, because I suffered a very low injury. I'm a T12, and so it's very, very low, and I don't have a lot of the health issues that a lot of higher spinal cord injuries have to worry about. It's like things like dysreflexia, which is when the blood pressure will spike up, and things like that. They can cause strokes and all kinds of other issues. And so I'm very, very fortunate to have such a low injury, but I mean, it was still life changing, and it's still a struggle when it comes to certain things in life. But for the most part, I continued on my goals and my ambitions. I've had 4 kids. Life goes on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. Life does go on, and I always say that we as human beings, we go through life, right? And we have various experiences, some better than others, and we shouldn't focus on what is good or what is bad, because in my opinion, there's no such thing as good or bad. It's just always an experience, and there are better experiences along the way. You just take what you had at that time, that was an experience, you wrap it up and move on to the next, right?
Yeah, I mean, because you can't excuse me, you can't like change it. I can't go back and do anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, to sit or to dwell on it, isn't going to make my life any better. So,
Absolutely.
It's and luckily, I mean, I like I said, I had a great support network with the Shriners Hospital, and then also being from a small community in Western Nebraska, they were very supportive. And then just also, but being able to just put myself out there, I realized that not only, I mean, it's healthy for me and for my mindset, but it also, I've helped a lot of other people kind of come out of their shell, because it seems like society really has a view of people when they have some form of disability that there's just not really much expected of them. And a lot of people with disabilities just kind of, they don't get out much.
Yeah.
And so, by being someone that I've always been a very extroverted person. I like talking to people. I like meeting people. I like going places. I like doing things. The fact that now I'm in a wheelchair doesn't change that.
Mhm.
I still want to do all those things. And so I do. And it's kind of interesting sometimes, how I'm received when I'm out in public, because it's just like, oh wow, like, and I'd like to see that shift, and that's part of what our goal is with our company, is just to show a different side, and hopefully um, encourage writers to start producing more shows and more movies that include different disabilities, and that aren't always just that same regurgitated storyline as to this happened and then, oh, they got better. And like this, most of the movies, if you think about it, that deal with people with disabilities, or TV shows or anything like that, it's always has to do with their accident, or like the actual trauma.
Mhm.
um,
Yeah.
it's not
And
very often that you see somebody with a disability in a film or a movie. You really don't know what's wrong with them, you know.
yeah,
It's not mentioned, that it's just, that's just who they are. I would like to see more of that, and so that's, part of
absolutely.
our goal.
And we have that goal in common. The purpose of this show is actually get rid of the stigma and that perception that you talked about. Why society usually has um, a perception that if a person with a disability does something very simple, it seems like, oh, a big deal, right? Like, no, he's a person like everybody else. He can do things. Maybe he can do it in a different way, but it's still simple things that he can do. We shouldn't be wowed about it. It's just his way or her way of doing things, and it's simple. And they can do things the same way able-bodied people can do things, right?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We're still capable, of living a full life and doing all the things that anybody else would want to do. And it just doesn't seem like a lot of times that that is expected or even accepted.
Yep.
In my own personal standpoint, just housing is, just ridiculous for a person in my situation, where I'm in a wheelchair and I have a family.
Hmm.
Like, it's like that is beyond the scope of most,
Most people's
like housing,
comprehension.
especially like in a renting situation. Apartment complexes, yes, they're required to have some accessible units, but it's usually just a 1 bedroom or maybe a 2 bedroom.
Mhm.
But someone like me that has 4 children, finding a 3 or 4 bedroom place that's accessible, like, it almost doesn't exist.
Yeah.
And what does that say? It's like, here, yes, we have these laws in place, but like, are they really helpful to everybody, or do they still just pigeonhole us? Because yeah, I can find a 1 bedroom apartment all day, but
Yep.
what does that say? That says that they expect somebody that's in a wheelchair to not have anybody else living with them,
Yep.
or have
Absolutely.
children, or
Absolutely.
have and so I think it speaks volumes, really,
Yeah.
how how mean.
Yeah, and this is why I wrote my book, Mobility and Inclusion, where I mentioned in it universal design, how we should design our built environment in a way that everybody can easily access things. Things are accessible, things are available for everyone, whether it's a product or a service. And we're going to talk about, of course, DAE a little bit later, but let's first talk about um, Luna. You ran Luna for 6 years. What drove you to start Luna, and what was your experience during that time?
Yeah, Luna Theater Company was my company, and Luna stood for Love, Understanding, Nurturing, and Awareness.
Mhm.
I've always been an advocate. I believe in supporting causes and and helping raise awareness. And so I've always been interested in theater and acting and all of that. And but as someone in a wheelchair, it was really hard to find roles and to find directors and producers that were willing to see me as being capable of playing roles that maybe weren't written for somebody in a wheelchair. Um, I did have, you know, um, an amazing instructor in college, and she taught me a lot and made me, assistant director of the theater department. But she also put me in roles that weren't designed for somebody in a wheelchair. I got to portray Mrs. Cratchit from the Christmas Carol 3 times, and it kind of it wasn't written for somebody in a wheelchair, but it kind of, it doesn't not make sense either, because with Tiny Tim, like, there's something wrong with Tiny Tim. Like, it doesn't take away, that it kind of like leaves like this extra added wonder, of,
Mhm.
well, maybe like whatever, there's some connection with something being wrong with the mom, and then with Tiny Tim. And so I love that she was willing to like take that step. And so, but then after college and when I was pursuing things, professionally on my own, it's hard to find those roles. And so I got into a really depressed state at one point in time. I was suicidal. Um, and so I went I checked myself into a hospital, and I just, really started reevaluating things, and um, remembering, that I was capable of just, doing it. And a friend of mine encouraged me. They're like, if you can't, if you're not finding people that want to, direct you or whatever, then you should do your own theater company. You're a good actor. You're great with directing people. You're talented. And so they encouraged me. And then I also had the support of my mom. Has always been very, very supportive of me. And a few other people, but they were just like, just go for it. And so I did. And
Awesome.
but
I
I
love it.
wanted, it was like, well, if I want to do a theater company, I'd like it to have some meaning behind it. Art is so powerful, and it teaches people so many things without them even realizing it sometimes. I love it when you come away from like reading a book or watching a movie or something, and it leaves you thinking, like, oh wow. And so that was my goal with my theater company, was to raise awareness. And through the years, I started, the first play we did was about domestic violence, and I teamed up with each uh, production that I did. I teamed up with a nonprofit organization, and I started my company in Nebraska, and so I did the first one on domestic violence, and we teamed up with Doves, which is a local domestic violence organization there that helps battered women and children and families. Just anybody. I don't like to just say women, because men can be, victims of domestic violence as well. But anyway, that's their organization there. And then we also worked with the Nebraska midwives and did a production called Birth,
Mhm.
um, because midwives are very overlooked in Nebraska. And then I moved to Tucson, and I carried it down here, and we did things on diabetes, multiple sclerosis, autism, and just always organ donation, just always something, meaningful that was connected to whatever production that we have to do. And I just, to express ourselves and to bring, light, to shine a light on some subjects and to get people thinking. It was amazing. I absolutely, I treasured every moment that I had with Luna. It was amazing. And
Well,
so, and I
it
and I
sounds
really
like it.
feel that we did, I feel that we did some good. and
Oh,
got some people. So.
you feel that you did some good. I know you did a lot of good, and you talking it just like makes my heart so happy. Just uh, that's how an entrepreneur should be. He or she should add value to other people by going after what they like and helping other people achieve their dreams. That's wonderful, and I encourage you. I am by your side, and this is why I started my company, Mobility and Inclusion. Markarian Robotics. Mobility and Inclusion kind of came after. Markarian Robotics is a robotics company that our vision and goal is to help people with various disabilities to be more independent through products that we're going to develop that are going to be efficient and affordable. As you and I know, people with disabilities usually are on disability check or whatever, and statistics show that they don't make as much as the able-bodied people do. And that's why one of my goals is to make the products that we build here affordable. Um, and we are releasing our first product this coming May, and we are going to live up to our goal. Um, let's talk about now Michael Ray. Who is he, and how has it been working alongside him?
Michael Ray is my co-founder, and he is an amputee and a fellow actor. He has been definitely like a big support and a lot of behind the scenes. He likes to say that I'm the face, and he's the guy, like the man behind the curtain. Because he's been very very involved in stuff. He's helped design our website and our merchandise, and help with all the filing and paperwork, and so he does all like the back end stuff for me.
Mhm.
And then and along with also Christy Webb is my editor for our magazine, and she's helped just really get our magazine Seize the Day off the ground. And she's another person that is kind of like our lady behind the curtain. And so yeah, they're the ones behind me making it possible to where I can just be promoting and generating as many opportunities as we can to spread the word.
That's
And
awesome. That's
with
great.
Michael Ray, Christy are definitely like my backbone right now. Without either one of them, I don't know if any of this would be happening. So
That's awesome. That's great that you have an entourage like that. You co-founded the DAE, correct?
mhm.
With Michael Ray, and let's talk about what DAE does a little bit, and what are some of the challenges that you face in finding opportunities for the differently abled entertainers.
Well, what we do is, so far we have been hosting numerous group photo shoot events to help models and actors build their toolbox. You're always needing headshots, character shots, all that. You need a reel to audition for jobs, to even submit to apply for an audition. You have to have your resume, your headshot, your reel. You have to have all these things.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, a lot of times people with disabilities are on a fixed budget. And in the acting and in the entertainment industry, all those things like headshots and reels and all that can be very, very, very costly. And so it makes it that much harder for somebody who might be living on, Social Security income, to be able to pursue those opportunities, because they don't have, 250, 500, $1,000 to just throw out on headshots and a reel. And so we're providing these opportunities at very low cost events and trade work with photographers and models and actors. And also we are in the process of writing 2 feature film scripts, and we're also writing a few short films. And then I'll be reaching out to some of our local companies here that deal with disabilities to see about their advertising, to see if they might want to, write up a commercial, or just let them know that we have actors and models that can fit their needs here locally,
Mhm.
just to kind of support local business, support local artists, and to just start including people with disabilities. And even in advertising, we're misrepresented so often. um and so that's just something that I'm hoping we'll be able to do something about, and start making a change a little
I'm
bit
sure
and
you will.
get
I'm
people
sure you
included.
will.
So
Oh, that's
those are
great.
some of our goals moving forward.
That's awesome. That's a great goal to have. And let's move on to a different topic now. As a performer and someone with a disability, I'm sure you use mobility devices or some type of device that uh, makes you go around, hopefully make things easier for you. Um, let's talk about what mobility devices do you use, and what would you rather have or change to make your daily activities more accessible and more efficient.
Well, I use a manual wheelchair, and it's a rigid frame. um and so, because I'm very active, I need something that I can get in and out of my car myself and take apart and all that. And so that's what I use. And I use a slide board for my transfers,
Mhm.
just because I'm kind of a chicken and I don't like to have just that open area, because I don't have any strength at all in my legs. My legs can't support anything. And so I like the safety net of a slide board.
Mhm.
And so those are what I use. My house is actually not very accessible, and so, like, my bathroom and stuff. And so I deal with things that not everybody has to deal with, because
Mhm.
they might be in more accessible situations than I am in
Yeah.
right now. um because, like I said, the housing situation is just it's just hard to find something that's actually accessible when you have a family. And
Yeah.
so I'm in the situation where I'm not really in an accessible place. I'm
Mhm.
hoping to be able to buy a house soon, because then, there's all kinds of grants and all kinds of help that you can get if you own something to get it accessible. But so yeah, that's kind of my situation. Is
Got it.
I I deal with living in a non wheelchair friendly environment on the
Well,
daily.
unfortunately the majority of our environment is not accessible. So, we're trying to through this encounter and this meeting now, we're trying to hopefully change that. And when I say hopefully, I mean hopefully sooner than later, because I'm going to give you another statistic. I'm going to say that 85% of people with disabilities acquire their disability later in life. So really, any one of us can be in a situation that will require accessible living at any point in their lives. So we should take this into account and make necessary changes to our environment.
Yeah, it's you bring up a very good point. I mean, yeah, you never know what's going to happen. And yes, and as people get older,
Mhm.
especially once they're are elderly, there's all kinds of problems. And it's like,
Absolutely.
if I mean, I love your whole concept, and I've thought of it myself. It's like if just everything was designed just a little bit differently, if houses were just all built with 36-inch doors standard,
Hmm.
like, I mean, think of what it would open up
Yeah.
for everybody. And then think of what it would save for the people that unfortunately do run into problems and have something happen, and have some sort of accident or something. Then it's just like that added stress. Okay, yeah, not only did I break my back, but now I have to like remodel my entire house.
Yep. Absolutely.
My parents had to go through that when, and so yeah, it's like not only did my 16-year-old daughter, become paralyzed, now we have to take out all the doors in our house and build on like this extra wall to the bathroom, and like fix like this shower, and they did all that, you know what
Mhm.
I mean? But it's like, imagine how much stress and
Yeah.
torment and all that it would save for people going through these traumatic experiences, if at least the doors at home were big
Yeah.
enough.
Absolutely. And that's you bring up a good point, because I'm also going to argue that, building or making our environment more accessible and making businesses more accessible, it makes a great business sense to do so, because there's a population and a community of people with disabilities that you're kind of discounting from your business. And
Yeah,
that's a key point. Approximately 15% or 12 to 15% of the world's population has some sort of a disability. So that's a huge number.
yeah,
Um, so you can't really disregard that fact. So it makes a great business sense to cater to you know all people,
yeah.
and not just the able-bodied people. Let's move on to now your upcoming projects. What is in the horizon? What are you currently working on, and where is the company going?
Well, right now we are currently working on our second issue of Seize the Day,
Mhm.
our first issue, which I have here. I got to show it off a little bit. With Came out March 20th, and we're so proud of it. There's room for improvement, of course, but we are very proud of it. And so yeah, right now we're in the process of publishing our second edition, and that'll be coming out the 24th of April is when it'll go live on MagCloud. And then other than that, recently I was just cast in a movie actually that I didn't audition for. That
Congratulations.
Yes, thank you so much. It was awesome. They actually some people reached out to me through, because lately with the group, we've been doing a lot of the photo shoots, and so we share those things. And um my because the role is a non-speaking role, they
Hmm.
said that they wanted somebody that could was good with facial expressions, and that could leave an impression, and that would be memorable to the audience. And so because they had seen my stuff that I've been posting with the modeling stuff, they reached out to me and asked if I would be interested in taking this role, and I was just like, yes, of course. And so I'm very excited about that. I'll be filming that the middle to end of May. And yeah, and then we have some other music videos that we're getting ready to produce, because we're also working with some local musicians here.
Hmm.
That also one band that we work with a lot is Method to the Madness. Both their front two women have some. Oops, sorry about that.
No, no, it's not a problem.
um, but some seen and unseen disabilities, and so we've been working with them a lot, and helping do some music videos. And we're also working with a musician out of Texas, Clint Boscap, um, who he deals with a lot of anxiety and other issues. And so we're just we're really trying to reach out and encourage any artists, both in our area, which is Tucson, Arizona, or just around, to reach out to us. We want to help promote and encourage and just, shine a light on all of the people that are pushing through, and actually still doing all the things, and just really show society a different side of people with disabilities, and maybe you know get them thinking a little bit different about how we're viewed.
You are doing a great job, and I want to tell you that you are very memorable. I will never forget the blue hair.
That's new. Thank you.
That is it suits you, by the way.
Thank you.
And good luck with everything that you're doing. I am very pumped when I hear you talk, and the stuff that you're doing. It's very encouraging for everyone. And that's our time together today. I want to thank you for coming on. Thank you for sharing the information. How can people get in touch with you?
Well, I want to thank you too. I'm honored to be on your podcast and to be included. But yes, you can find us, you can find me or Differently Abled Entertainment on Facebook and on Instagram is our two largest platforms. We are on a few others, but those are the ones that we utilize the most right now. As we're growing, we're trying to extend our social media usage and stuff like that, but it's one step at a time.
Yep.
But yeah, Facebook, you can search Differently Abled Entertainment, and on Instagram you can search Differently Abled Entertainment, or you can also search Differently Abled Models. We have our own page on Instagram that's just for the modeling group.
That's awesome. And of course, when I post this later, I will include all the information that you just mentioned. Again, thank you so much, Jonni. It was a pleasure having you on the show today.
I really appreciate being here.
I want to thank everyone for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Until then, follow your dreams, set goals, and achieve them.
Yes.
Bye, everyone.